Hey guys, want to do a quick video here. There was a discussion online in one of the gospel music groups about transposing. If you watch my organ videos, you know I don't transpose because I play, tone wheel Hammonds that don't have any transpose option. And on some of my videos I play Fender Rhodes, no transpose option there. I do not believe in transposing. I believe that it holds you back as a musician. Even though there are some keys that I'm weaker in, and I wish that I wasn't. A is probably my least favorite key, at least on organ. I hate playing an A. If I wanted to be a better musician, I'd force myself to play an A and practice in nothing but A until I was as good in A as I am in A flat or D flat or B natural or any of the other keys that I'm comfortable in. But even when a song turns up in A, sometimes I might try to guide the singer towards B flat. But definitely don't transpose. And two reasons why I think transposing hinders you as a musician. One is, like I said, you'll never get good in the other keys. But then also, it holds you back from developing your ear. Because if you're playing one thing and hearing another, that's going to make it harder for you to then learn what to listen for as far as picking up chords and picking up notes and things of that nature. A good friend of mine, Cassandra O'Neill, and I were talking about this some time ago. She has perfect pitch, and so she can't transpose. If she does, and she plays one thing and hears another, it's painful. I have perfect relative pitch, which is not quite the same thing, but it definitely throws me off if I'm playing one thing and hearing another. So please, first point of this video, do not transpose. If there's a key you're bad in, play it until you're better. Don't be like me and try to avoid A. Play an A. But definitely, I don't let any musicians that work for me transpose. If I find someone transposing, I'll come and unplug the keyboard. So definitely don't transpose. So then the sub conversation that occurred was, is a capo for guitar transposing? And I'm going to demonstrate why it's not, because it's easy to see why people would mistake it that way if they're not familiar. So here's my Ovation acoustic. For those who are unfamiliar with my videos, I tune down to E flat. I do that because I play a lot of gospel music. Gospel music is typically in flat keys, and the intonation of the guitar is better this way. Also, I like being able to hit a low E flat, So, if you tune to E, you see what I'm playing, and again, it might throw you off because I'm playing what you'd expect to be an E, but it's an E flat. I've been tuning to E flat for 20 years, probably more. I'm trying to think of how long. So, to me, this is an E flat. It's not an E, and when I play guitar that's tuned to E, it throws off my ear. I've just been doing this for so long. So, here's the Ovation, and you'll see no capo, and I'm just going to play an E flat chord, or an E chord if you're tuned to E. Okay? Now, here's a capo, G7th capo. I highly recommend these because you can use it for both electric and acoustic. It's self-tensioning, so you don't have to worry about it being too tight or too loose and throwing your intonation off. So, put it on the first fret. I'm going to play the exact same E flat chord, or E if you're tuned accordingly. There's no difference at all. I'm going to move the capo up a fret, play the same E flat chord. One more fret. Okay. Take the capo off, and I'm going to play a scale. Okay, that turned out to not be a scale, but you get the idea. The capo on the first fret. Take the capo, move it to the second fret. I should just play the same thing, huh? Okay, So you notice, even though I was adding the capo and moving it to different frets, because I was playing the exact same thing with my fingers, nothing changed. So on a keyboard, when you push transpose, you can keep playing the same thing with your fingers, and this comes out a different key. On a guitar, it's not like that. If you play the same thing with your fingers, it's going to come out the same thing. If you put your finger here, that's going to be a C, no matter if there's a capo anywhere here. Or in this case, a C sharp if you don't tune down the way that I do. You know, and so if I play this E flat chord, or E if you tune up, and you put a capo on any one of these, nothing you do here affects. So then what's the purpose of the capo? The capo is used if you need to play open chords. So I'll give you an example of an open chord. So instead of playing all the strings with my fingers here, sorry, that's what I meant to do. In this case, I'm letting that string ring open, then I'm playing these three, and then I'm letting these two ring open. And you do that when that's a specific sound that you're looking for. So somebody in the thread pointed out Israel uses a lot, so you get the idea. Open chords. Because it sounds very different. Here, I'll play the same thing without using open strings. With open strings, the difference is just whether or not I'm letting these strings ring open or I'm actually fretting them. So now let's put the capo on the first fret, and I'm going to continue to play the same thing. I'm not moving my fingers at all. So if you add a capo, and even if you play open chords, if you keep playing the same thing, if you don't change your fingering, it's not going to sound right. So again, if you were transposing, you would keep playing the same thing, you would add the transposer, and it would come out in a different key. It doesn't work that way. With guitar, you have to change your fingers to accommodate each new key, whether you use the capo or not. So now what I'm going to do, capo on the first fret, and instead of playing the E flat chords, I'm going to play E chords. And again, this is keeping in mind my guitar is tuned down a half step. So because I added the capo and I changed my fingering, now I can get open chords in a different key. But I can't just add the capo and not change my fingering. I'm going to end up with half of it in one key and half of it in another key. So even when you use a capo, you still have to change your fingers to accommodate the new key. And that's why it's not transposing. If you keep playing in the same key, it's going to keep coming out in the same key. So again, but if I move it up, and again, if I go back to E flat and I leave the capo here, but I don't use open strings, or the same E flat scale, as long as I'm not using open strings, the capo doesn't matter. And if I am using open strings, the capo only changes the open strings. It doesn't change your fingering. You still have to change your fingering. So if you know anybody that's using a capo and they're not playing open chords, they're using it wrong. Because there's literally no point. I can play any song. So again, I'll play Brighter Day by Kirk Franklin. Okay, I'll add a capo randomly, like right here. I'm gonna play exactly the same thing. It changes nothing. It literally changes nothing except for open strings. So you only need it when you're playing open chords, and even then you still have to change your chords to accommodate the new key. So yeah, if you know anybody that's using it in a way other than that, they're probably making things harder for themselves because there's no practical purpose that I can think of. Sometimes with alternate tunings, there was a famous blues guitar player named Albert Collins, one of my all-time favorites, who played his guitar, I think, tuned to an open F minor chord and then capoed somewhere up the fretboard and then did all of his blues soloing up here. And, I don't know what purpose that served, honestly. He was an amazing guitar player, but I don't know why he would do it that way as opposed to, as opposed to a different way. He's since gone on. And, so if you see somebody using a capo and they're not playing open chords, ask them why. Maybe they've got a unique approach to playing the guitar, but if they do, I'm guessing they probably couldn't play a lot of stuff. Like if you asked them to play one of the 2 songs that I used in my example, they probably couldn't with their tuning. So, anyhow, hopefully this outlined the difference between using a capo and transposing. And remember, transposing is wrong. Don't do it. No transposing. Never. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.